Hello, my name is Joseph Conde, and I will be doing my HR strategy paper on Apple Incorporated. Apple was founded in 1976 by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak when they went into business in Cupertino, California. 2 years later, after they released many products, the computers went publicly. When the co-founders left the company, Apple was still releasing different products. In 1997, Steve Jobs returned to Apple as an advisor and later that year became CEO, changing the company around in order to become more successful. Finally, in 2001, Apple's huge success started with the release of iTunes and the iPod, which were the company's biggest accomplishments. The following year, Apple redesigned the computer to a flat-paneled iMac. From 2007 to today, the iPhone was what made the company successful, and making their products thinner and smaller, which resulted on creating tablets and watches that would be the perfect in-between appliance between the computer and the iPhone. Apple's products and services are Mac computers, the iPad, the iPhone, the iWatch, the TV, the music, iTunes, iPod, and they also have support care called Apple Care. Apple has a lot of competition. Their main rivalry, of course, is Samsung. Pretty much Samsung has been Apple's main rivalry in developing new cell phone technology. Samsung first came out with the smartphone concept and making the design thinner and bigger for its customers. Apple started creating the same concept of smartphones with better enhanced technology. This enhanced technology and design are what made Apple number one in the industry. Samsung recently got heated in September of 2016 with the launch of the iPhone 7 and the Samsung Galaxy 7. Other competition that Apple has in the industry, technological industry, is Sony, Samsung, Huawei, HTC, Nokia, and Microsoft. Apple's greatest competitive advantage is one, that their brand itself. Many people know Apple very well. They know all the products. They know the logo. And according to Forbes, Apple is the largest, most valuable brand, valued at 151 billion. Apple has a mark for simplicity, making intricate things simple. Before the iPhone, smartphones were problematical. Apple's main important ingredient has always been integration. Apple designs its own semiconductors all the way to the software and conduct their services. This allows them to own the customer experience. It also introduces risk, as they cannot take advantage of technologies created by third parties as easily. So how does Apple's advantages relate to HR? Apple has a strong company culture which focuses on the customer and the employees. Apple is committed to inclusion of diversity in the workplace. And Apple implements training and testing on all their products. My recommendations, in my opinion, is that the company should make technological enhancements to the software, allowing it to stay ahead from the rivals in the industry. The company should also gain capacity into other regions, developing new markets, therefore allowing them to also be able to lead in other markets. The company, lastly, should focus more on new product development, placing more emphasis on innovation. Apple already does a good job of innovation. As I mentioned before, it is their key ingredient. I think Apple has more potential, though. Apple can go beyond and really leave Samsung behind in the dark. Last year's numbers, I was seeing that Samsung came out about 25% behind from Apple, and Apple pulled out 50% more in their revenues. So right now, the leader in the industry, of course, is Apple, according to the financials. And if they continue to innovate, the customers are already a fan of Apple. They will see more revenue. They will see more benefit from the enhancement, and of course, they will be able to stand above all the rivalry. In conclusion, Apple's competitive advantage has led them to where they need to be in the tech world. If they continue to enhance their technology and design, they will succeed over its rivals. Apple must also consider adding capacity in other regions in order to lead in other markets as well. Currently, Apple, as mentioned before, is a leader in the tech world right now and in other markets. If they continue their strategy that they are working on right now, as far as the technological innovation, software upgrade, and of course the benefit of the customer and the employee, I feel that overall their whole corporate culture, whether it's for the customer or the employee, will be a success. Many companies need to pay attention to what the customer wants, and I think Apple does a very good job of doing that. This is my presentation, and thank you.